so that Chris
so that I
can go downstairs and get him a cold pop.
Cold cut.
probably gonna make me some spam and eggs in a little bit.
Yes. All right. Now you're speaking my language, dude. Now
Yeah.
you are speaking my language,
I
the
thought you-
spam and egg language.
Well, it's
That-
because
that
Mike
was-
came over the other day and with his girlfriend, Mike from Gross Palates.
I keep
and,
thinking they're married, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, eventually.
Yeah.
The writing is on the wall, as like most things. Oh god damn it! No, the cow dog logo is like crying right now.
What's that?
so-
Oh, I thought that was Mike. He's still there.
Yeah, let me see if I can hack through this story real quick and then get
Sorry,
the
man.
intro going. But anyway, so I made sushi for I didn't make sushi for everybody. I made a couple rolls and we all sort of took turns making some sushi. But I had to make sushi rice, so now I have a ton of sushi rice left over because I'm kind of into overdoing things sometimes, and therefore now spam, eggs, and rice will be for breakfast this morning.
Nice.
Dude.
So yeah, with sticky rice, it's
This-
way more money that way.
Yes, but it's still it's delicious. Like
Yes.
the fucking cow dog.
Yeah, he won't shut up. Let me.
Do you
guys
do
film-
like you do the sunny side up and then like pierce it on top of the
Oh,
egg?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
God,
Come on.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
There's no other way to do it.
This is so America. God damn it.
Yeah. All right. I'm Chris with Cat Dog Craftworks, joined by PJ with the Evolution of Tables and Arturo the Chop Master, and I gotta go let the dogs out. Ask me about my wood.
Who?
Who?
Who let the dogs out?
I think there's like a copyright infringement on that one. Oh, is he taking us
okay.
with us? Like
He's taking it.
yeah. He's
Oh no, he just
taking
put
with
us
him.
on the bed. All right, we're
Oh.
looking at the ceiling now. Here we go.
Alright,
So we
here
are.
go.
This is the show, everyone, where we'd like to open up the phone lines, even though we don't have them. Email lines, we could say, and we'd like you to ask us about our wood and your wood and any questions that you might have. I actually do have a couple situations that some will argue has nothing to do with woodworking, but it is basically woodworking. It's working around wood. In the realm of epoxy, I've got a nice young lady that I've sold a bunch of slabs to because she's just like infatuated with the idea of making live edge furniture and doing it, epoxy pours and things like that. And she has run into a bunch of issues, and all of which, honestly, she'll call me and ask me. She'll send me DM, she'll email me, whatever. Saying, hey, what do I do about this? She'll send me a picture of something that she did, and cracked. I'm like, all right, well, you poured it too thick. It's
Right.
hot here in South Florida. We can't pour as thick as the rest of the country. Oh, okay, I'll try it thinner next time. And then she'll send me another picture, like, hey, this one cracked too. And I'm like, well, did you mind the thickness? Oh no, yeah, you're right. You said that before. I should have poured it thinner this time. Yeah, that's what you should have done.
Should've done,
Like, I understand, like, with epoxy, there's this like false sense of instant gratification with epoxy, but it definitely is something that you have to take your time and do in layers and wait for it to dry, for it to fully cure before you start messing with it. Like, it's
especially with the cheaper stuff.
that's true.
Like with Total Bow and West Systems, like you can get
Mhm.
away with a thicker pour because it's a more professional. I want to say it's a more heavier duty product.
I don't know, man, because the
I-
stuff I'm using is basically the same as Total Boat.
I literally just poured a thick Total Bow and a thick of the FGI whatever CI,
FGCI, yeah.
and it cracked. Luckily, it was a middle layer, so I didn't have to worry about it, and the Total Boat's fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What are these variables though? What kind of differences are we talking about? Was it
The same thickness.
it was a void in
It
the
was a void.
Okay.
It was a void. It was the same thickness, same climate, same everything.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, there you have it, folks. Okay. So it's not even I guess it could be something in the formula. Is it did you use like is it is 2-to-1 versus 1-to-1, or
No,
is it
they're all 1-to-1. No, sorry, they're 2-to-1s.
no, they're 2-to-1. Yeah.
2-to-1s.
I know the FGCI is 2-to-1.
Yeah,
Um,
they're 2-to-1s.
what about
the
cure
F-
times?
The FGCI is it? Is it a 1-to-1?
Are you using the tabletop
The
epoxy?
tabletop, yeah.
That's not meant for thick pours, dude.
I
That's
know, but
why.
that's the only one that will crack.
Oh my
That I
God.
have to
Yeah, it's
compare. That
it's cracking
right,
because it's not meant for that. Yeah.
right. But then
This
like a total bolt, the same thickness, and hardens quicker too.
because it's meant for a
Yeah.
thick pour, dude. You can't use something that's
No, no,
not meant
obviously. I'm just comparing the two because only
that
two that I can
that
compare to.
what's it called? The FGCI, the tabletop epoxy, bro, is meant to be maximum quarter inch at a time.
If
You know,
that,
if that, yeah.
yeah, like
Even
if
I've
that.
poured some coasters that are like, half an inch or maybe 5/8. Like that gets hot
Yeah,
while it's curing. So
the
that stuff is not meant to do that at
the
all.
total bolt it will cure quicker though. That's one thing.
Okay.
It hardens a lot faster, a lot faster.
So what total boat stuff? Are you using deep pour total
No, the
boat stuff?
regular total boat.
Total boat tabletop stuff, or
It's
just
the
like
regular. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
all right.
It's a regular total boat that they send you.
So the stuff that I'm using is from FGCI. Oh, I see. We
Yeah,
got a
but
nice.
yours is different.
That's for it's called water clear slow cast.
Right.
So
Right,
it's
right.
it's for casting. It's for thicker
Yeah,
pours.
it's a 2-to-1 mix.
But yeah, it's 2-to-1. But if you pour anywhere over around an inch or over an inch, it's gonna cook, man.
Yeah. Let me see if I can.
Just
Let me see if I can share
especially
screen.
something I learned from
This one, this kit.
oh, okay. What is this here? 165 bucks, buckaroonios. It's a 2-to-1
2-to-1.
high performance medium hardener, more like a medium. Okay,
Well,
group
because
size B.
it's either fast. The fast doesn't work right. I have the fast. They send it to me. It doesn't work right at all.
Well, dude, the thicker you wanted, the thicker you're going, the thicker your pour, the slower you want.
No,
So
no, no. Even
you're talking about
on a thin pour, it doesn't cure right down here. It's not the right weather for that fast one. Like it throws it off because it's too hot down here, too humid, and it'll throw the fast one off and the slow
okay.
one off. I've tried both. I have both.
This the slow doesn't
Yeah.
work.
No, the slow for some reason the 2-to-1 mix doesn't work right. It's not like your like slow one. It's different and it doesn't work right at all. I've never had good success with it with the slow one.
Well, you've also never done it in an air conditioned space.
I've done it in my garage, but what I've done all the epoxies in my garage.
Hmm.
So it doesn't get really that hot until like the afternoons for a little
I mean,
bit.
Hialeah climate is different from the rest of South Florida climate, so there's something weird about Hialeah.
There is.
No comment on that.
There is something a little funky. But
So,
but doing
Chris,
that,
for
it's
those Chris's just joining us, we were talking about a customer of mine, a client of mine who's bought a bunch of slabs so far, and she's like really interested in doing live edge epoxy pours and blah blah blah, and she keeps kind of like asking me the same question over and over again, and which I'm used to because I'm a high school teacher, but it's pretty like self-explanatory, most of it. And the need, what I was trying to get into before, is the need for watching YouTube videos about everybody's tips and tricks on how to pour epoxy. None of it really works. All right. If I were new at everything, if I were new at pouring epoxy and I wanted to get into it, I'd be buying a bunch of that Tyvek tape. I'd be buying a bunch of the most expensive Total Boat deep pour or chill epoxy or whatever, and I'd be doing this, and here I am in South Florida watching YouTube, and I'd be trying to do this like 1.5 or 2 inch thick pour using the right stuff, and
I mean, I use
it wouldn't
Tyvek
work.
tape. I like using Tyvek tape. I'm gonna use it today.
Oh, all right. If
You're not using
well,
you're not using the tape, right? Like you're just
I'm not using tape at all. No,
Just-
for molding. Dude, okay, Arturo's using Tyvek tape to dam off the bottom of a slab
Right,
with
correct.
a
Yeah.
void that goes all the way
Yes,
through.
I'm using
Bro, of
for a
course,
complete different purpose.
of
than you
course.
are.
But you've seen
but you're also
people,
you're using melamine for your molds?
I've used melamine. I also
Yeah.
used the leftover that pre-finished stuff. Remember the
Yeah.
the piece that we glued together? So it was like two
Yeah.
things. It's been sitting in the shop for 25 years.
Yeah.
I used a section of that as the bottom, and that was just pre-finished plywood. The trick is mold release wax, and that's from working on boats forever ago. Like I made mold for my dashboard, whatever I would do, working with fiberglass using mold release wax, which is basically paste finishing wax.
Yeah.
The petroleum wax that smells like death.
So it's funny, you and Mike from Industrial Maker kind
Yeah.
of had the same, I guess, epiphany more or less at the same time,
Okay.
where he was like, yeah, like I've been using for all the concrete stuff, just melamine with paste wax.
Yeah.
And although he wipes the paste wax out, so I mean, whatever. He uses the paste wax for the purpose of pulling up the caulking in the corners.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like the bead, because he uses the fondant tool to
Yes.
get the perfect bead, and then uses
Sure.
the excess pulls away because of the paste wax, and then he wipes the paste
Bye-bye.
wax out with the what's it called, mineral spirits. But long story short is that, I mean, all you need is something that just doesn't have some sort of porousness for the epoxy to stick into. That's why
Yeah.
I think most people, I would assume, I don't really know, but I would assume most people are using plywood, which is I think why they're wrapping it in Tyvek tape. Whereas like if you just, buy a sheet of 4x8 melamine, that solves your problem pretty much instantly.
Yeah. I don't know if I mean, well, from the videos that I've seen, they would use melamine and then cover it with the tape,
Oh, well, that's stupid. Then.
which is dumb. And also, and what that does also, using a bunch of a million strips of tape just leaves you with a bunch of lines on the bottom of your mold, or especially if that's like
Yeah.
the top, if you're doing it upside down, like that's stupid. You're just adding hours to your finishing process, man, because there's no
Yeah.
way to get rid of those, or there's no way to not have lines in
This
your
is one
in
of
your
those
mold.
situations, and you've talked about this a bunch, I think, just from a personal conversation between you and I about how sometimes what happens is somebody sees something, right? And then
Yeah.
they aggregate it, and then everybody does it, but nobody sort of takes 20 seconds to be like, hey, why am I doing this?
Yes.
It's just that like they saw it once and they were like, well, I saw this guy do it. And then like everybody just assumes that that's the way it's supposed to be done.
Mhm.
And then, here we are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which it's just cool. It's nice to know that I guess me and like you said, Mike from Industrial Maker, that our maker brains still work. You know what I mean? Like because
Yeah.
we are saturated with like, hey, this is how you should do this, and this is how you should do that. Like,
Oh,
but
he's-
wait a minute. If you're in it, if you're actually doing it all the time, then you figure out efficiencies. And,
Yeah.
and you
He's a
figure out-
patent attorney. So, I mean, I would
Yeah.
assume that that's what he does.
pretty smart dude. Yeah.
Fun story about that too is like I remember when I went to go visit him in July. Well, I mean, I met up with him. I didn't go for the purpose of visiting him. It was
Yeah,
for July 4th. But it was right after I had sort of finished up the nightstand video with the wireless charger in it.
Yes.
And he was like, dude, he's like, why don't you just like take apart the wireless charger and then like have like a piece of walnut or something as like the badge on top instead of having, just the just the charger like sitting there. He came up in a matter of like 10 minutes with like the coolest, I guess, most clean way to do it. But I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
It's already
like
It's not
you
the
already
video's
checked out.
done already.
Yeah.
Like, the nightstand's over,
Yeah.
on my girlfriend's side of the bed already. Like I'm done with it.
that's the easy part though, man. Take it apart. I have puck chargers like that. I had
Yeah,
ordered
he was
just
saying
the
to like
coil.
take the top off
Yeah,
and then
you take-
basically like glue that or something, attach that
Yeah.
to a piece of walnut or whatever that
Yeah.
was around, and then
Even
just
a piece
set
of
that
walnut
down.
veneer or something like that.
yeah,
I have-
something like that.
I
But
have that.
nah,
shit. I have
strong
that
nah.
crap here. I have
Like, how did-
my valet tray has it.
Yeah. Had I been presented with that idea like at the start of it, it would be a totally different thing. But,
Sure,
like, I was
sure.
done. Video was done. It was like I'm done. So
I just got a great idea, like because those chargers can only go through at the maximum at like 1/8 of an inch
Yes.
of material,
It's an eight.
and normally the par for the course is to like route out a hole into the bottom and pray to the god of skinny punks that you don't go all the way through.
No, what
the
you gotta,
top.
You got to do it on the CNC so you don't go all the way through, just in case.
Listen, I don't
I did it on the
CNCs.
CNC, man. I've
Nah, man.
been doing that. I have like 8 of those. I gotta give
No.
you guys each. Oh yeah, cause now you got a wireless charger phone, so I'll bring you.
Yes.
he's had a wireless charger phone for like
I don't-
ever.
Yeah, but he's had them all like messed up and it wouldn't charge and whatnot.
Ooh.
You had it all messed up. That's why you got a new one.
Probably just
What
had
are
a
you
thick
talking about?
case. That's all.
No, mine charges with the OtterBox.
I guess you're special.
Mine
I'm gonna
charges
take a half zoom picture of us right now.
Mine charges with the
I love it.
OtterBox. I use it every day, and I have the pucks in epoxy too.
Okay, you put the puck in epoxy. So I was thinking of make like an insert for Chris's nightstand. Put a piece of 1/8 inch walnut veneer down. Put the the charging puck upside down in epoxy, and then have like a border around it, so that you're only a 16th or 32nd of an inch below the surface, so it will work, but it won't have that like like if you put your fingernails on it, it won't seem like really thin because it's getting encased in epoxy. Oh, there goes Arturo taking a dump again.
Yeah. Typical. Typical.
Oh shit.
But no, so back to your point though. I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. I think where YouTube comes in value for epoxy pours is for people that don't know how to build a mold.
Okay.
I mean, I think that is probably valid. But as far as like the pouring process, like everybody does it differently. Like those guys up in Canada will do a 4-inch thick pour in one pass
because they're in a freaking meat locker.
Yeah, whereas you have to go literally 1 inch.
3/4. Yeah, I'm going sub 1 every time.
So,
yeah,
and even so, oh, that's cool, man.
So it's in here. Well, my daughter's filled water there, but it's in here. There's a puck in there.
That's nice. What does it look like from the back?
Solid.
What?
Aha. Stupid.
You just blew my mind.
Why?
So how
glued a thing on the bottom of it. That's all.
Oh, is it a veneer on the bottom?
No, this is solid 3/4 bar.
No, it's not. I see the.
Yeah.
Oh
right.
no, I don't.
No, there's a seam here.
Yeah. Oh, on the top. On the top,
so,
I see.
So what I did was I resawed it on the. I cut a 1/4 inch off on the bandsaw. Right, so I have full 3/4. What is it? 6x12 inch piece. Resawed the top part, so I have a thin piece. I routed out the hole for the.
Put it in and then glued it back together.
Yeah, and put it back together.
Basically,
and
like a bandsaw box,
right?
But it's not a box at all.
But then when I put it back all solid, I routed out the tray area.
I see a little router snipe action on that.
Yeah, well, because originally it was supposed to be smaller.
Well, that's why he kept that one.
Yeah.
it was a try and error because this puck comes with this like already directly attached. It's not a USB one.
Okay.
And I forgot when I designed it. I designed it for the like USB regular ones. So then it was supposed to be like a 1/4 smaller than it is now. So then I ordered a bunch from China. So I have like 10 pucks in a box.
Nice.
They're sitting there. I'll give you guys each one because they're just there.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and they're 10-watt chargers. They're really good. The only thing is you got to be careful is the outside hole. You have to leave it a little bit wide so some heat could escape because they get hot. They get really hot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they get really hot. So, you want to leave a little groove or something. Like, it can't be flush. Sucks. So, yeah, because it gets way too hot.
I'm not your attorney that's going to deal with all the spontaneous combustion lawsuits that you're going to get
dude.
out of that.
Seriously. Like, oops.
Yeah. I'll have to
Maybe
refer you to somebody.
Maybe drill some holes on the bottom or something, man. Because
put a fan inside it.
Yeah.
The epoxy ones are cool because the epoxy ones I did it separate, and then I did the same thing. I routed it out in a puck, and then I put the epoxy puck, a thin one, on top of it, and then just glue them together, and then trim route it all the way around, and that's it. Yeah.
Cool.
Easy. I have wood ones. I got some Ipe ones and some epoxy ones.
Nice.
And this Paducah's my tray. Yeah, bro. They're freaking cool. They work great, and they look nice.
Oh, I found a on the interwebs, on the worldwide interwebs. We're talking nonsense about people shouldn't use the internet for certain things, but I did something positive did come from the internet this week. I found one of those printing presses. Like the ones that Mr. James DiResta would use to like make those little cards that he passed out at WorkbenchCon. I got one, a small one. It's like a 6x10 or something like that. to make little things. But I think it's missing a piece.
But
I gotta say, I'll post
you
a
have
picture of
you
it
have a
later
picture of
today.
it? I would like to see that.
No, I don't. I have a
Printing
picture of
press.
like the serial number because I wanted to look it up, but I didn't take a picture of the whole thing. I think it's missing like the top plate. I didn't know anything about them. I just
What's-
honestly I recognized them. You know,
What's the name of it? Like actually, besides
Um,
printing press.
Where'd you get it? Did you get it on like Craigslist? Or
a
OfferUp
Craigslist.
or one of
Yeah, the
those?
Craigslist. Some actually it's close to the school. Probably like where Oded lives.
Just some guy's got a vintage printing press back there for
Like,
no freaking
it,
reason.
it's worth a lot. I hate to say like what they're on eBay for like $1,500, and this guy wanted
Yeah.
$40 for it. So I'm like, okay. Before you do some research, I'm gonna pick that up. I literally it was
Printing.
by chance. I just saw it, and I'm like, hey, that's the thing that he has, and I'm looking into it. I'm like, oh, okay. Let me just get it.
I'm trying to find it. A small
Let
one.
me see. Let me see my pictures, my pictographs. But anyway, I don't. Again, that's something I know nothing about. So I'm gonna try and get some ink and try and get some paper and try and figure out what piece is missing.
What is it, like an etching press?
No, it's.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I can go.
That's actually cool though.
I'll go snap a picture of it. Here, it's called the Mercury Model 6x10 Excelsior. Sounds like what's his name? Former vice president from South Park. Excelsior.
Yes.
Excelsior Company, Meriden, Connecticut, USA.
Interesting question. I mean, you can obviously print on paper. Can you
Mhm.
print on wood using that, just like a board?
I would imagine.
I would assume so.
If you get
right?
like a big roll of veneer and I'm sure there's like an adjustment screw for the thickness of the paper.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
I'd be curious if you could just like throw like a 3/4 inch piece of material in there.
Oh,
and then
three.
Just, like,
I don't know
stamp
about
it out.
that. I don't think it adjusts that far.
No, veneer, you can
Yeah.
do it. Oh, I see
Veneer,
what they
veneer
are.
for sure.
Because
Veneer.
veneer is basically paper.
Well, yeah, I mean, thick cardstock.
It's,
Yeah.
it's not
Hallmark
a,
stuff.
It's not a Kingsley?
It's not a Kingsley. It's a Mercury.
Oh.
Excelsior.
Excelsior. That's
No,
my
'cause-
favorite part of
'cause-
the whole thing.
Because Kingsley has one called Excelsior as well. I just found it.
Let me see if I can pull something up on the
Can I
interwebs.
share this screen? Here. This is the one I found.
Oh, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so you make the postcards. And
Oh,
stuff.
that's for $260. Okay, it's not bad.
Yeah,
I saw
it's-
one for like $1,400. I got so fired up. I'm not trying to like flip it or resell it or anything, obviously, but like I just
Yeah.
thought it was neat
That is cool.
and it was there, and I'm like,
Maybe I know that sometimes you're kind of back and forth on things to take to the school. That would be probably a cool thing for the school, though. It's not very carpentry related necessarily, but
yeah,
like,
but you're right. The kids would get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to make the dies.
PG's on Antique Roadshow.
Oh God.
I mean, you could
Yeah.
probably just buy straight up like inks.
Yeah,
like,
you could
you know.
probably find used stuff.
Yeah, but
on eBay.
the stamp, the actual stamp to make the image,
Oh,
like
Yeah,
you said
that
dyes.
gets
You
a
weren't
little-
talking inks. You were
like
talking
no, yeah,
dye
like dye, like a
stamps.
DIE, yeah.
That gets a little tricky because
Those actually, I think, are probably the expensive part. To be quite honest.
Sure, because
But-
they're all custom. Like you have
Yeah.
to. Maybe if we knew
But-
somebody with a CNC machine, we could like get something machined out of
some aluminum.
aluminum or something like that.
This is
You-
aluminum right
It's a
here.
shame.
You know
though.
a guy though, another guy by the name of Gary that has that crazy plasma cutter and can do a bunch of weird shit with metal.
That, yeah. Is he primarily? I mean, solely
I don't know what that guy
plasma.
does.
Oh God.
Yeah, he only does plasma.
So he can only cut basically two-dimensional
Yes.
shapes.
Uh-huh.
He's not doing like a die, like your branding iron. I don't think Gary can cut that.
No. You cut
I
that
don't
on the
know.
CNC.
I'll be totally honest. I don't know.
The die you cut that for the branding iron. You cut it on the CNC.
Yeah, and your if you use a carbide bit, you can cut aluminum, no problem, or brass even, right? Can't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
You can do brass.
You can
Okay.
do light brass. You can do aluminum.
Aluminium. Yeah, I mean anything non-ferrous, of course
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
You can cut with a carbide tool.
The guys that used to own my CNC, they used to do like full aluminum sheets. For
All
signs.
right. All right, perfect. Then it'll feel at home when we cut aluminum.
Yeah, I have they
images.
gave me they gave
Now
me
I
all
think
the
about it, my
bits.
branding iron is brass too. So
That's yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. So
'cause the
you're
brass
so
is
get this.
soft
The
for
goal.
CNCs.
What popped into my head for getting this is we could take the logo, the makers and whatever. You know, like
Mhm.
how not to try and s anyone's d because of the internet and clout and everything, but like I thought it was really cool how Jimmy has this like the I make logo with the guy with the
Yeah.
hammer like this, like, and he'll just like print them out at a location and hand them out. I thought that
Mhm.
was pretty cool because it's like a business card slash you're putting on a show slash it's a little memorabilia type thing. Like we could take the logo that David designed, freaking CNC a piece of aluminum like that, and get some ink and a bunch of veneers and freaking
Yeah,
do that.
start veneering it. That'd
It's
be
not a
cool.
terrible idea.
Whatevs,
Yeah.
fam.
That's not bad.
Like it.
But yeah, again, I have no interest in like becoming a printing press guy at all. But like I just stumbled upon it and thought it was cool.
Yeah,
You know?
no, it's a cool idea. And it's, like I said, it's something where you can kind of mess with it at school and stuff and
Yeah.
get kids involved in it.
Chris,
Yeah.
your Wi-Fi dude is like coming in and out. Just a heads up.
That's what she said.
Ah,
Oh,
hey.
all right. So I do believe that Chris has a pretty big new tool announcement to make. Oh God damn it! Did we lose him?
Yeah.
All right,
He
well-
switched.
Are you-
Oh.
Here we go. Here we go. He probably switched back and forth.
I just hear you guys just fine. I just can't see PJ.
Can you see me picking my nose right now?
Just picking his nose.
Yep.
Pretty deep in there.
Hold on. Switch.
So Arturo, what do you got going on this week, man?
Staying busy, man. Staying busy.
Yeah.
Staying busy as I can. I got the what you call it, to finish that console last Monday and delivered it.
The cedar one with the slab on top.
Yeah, with the black
That
Limba
looked
slab.
awesome, man. If you
Thanks.
guys listening, you got to go check that out. That he's got some
That was pretty
some-
badass.
cool pictures of that thing. That was awesome.
It came out a lot nicer than I was like hesitant at first to whitewash the black Limba, but it went on super nice.
It's 2019, man. You can be whatever color you want.
I know.
You know?
I know. No, and then Maria showed me a different. It's not a whitewash. It's like a black wash or something like that. Oh, what is it called? Black glaze.
I
It's
love
the
how she's
exact-
like
yeah, 'cause
in
she's
the other room
bedroom.
next door, like listening to you.
Yeah, she's in the bedroom. Black. What is it called? Black glaze. Yeah, black glaze or whatever. It's kind of like whitewashing, but yeah, it's like a whitewash, but with like gray and black in it. It looks
Okay,
freaking
that's cool.
badass.
So like the Rubio stuff, like this, you could do I don't know. I got a pure thing of Rubio, but now I've been reading more about Rubio. Like it's a really cool system. Like if you add the dye to the Rubio and
right.
goes on
This
really
one
well. I
does
think Limba is a pretty good candidate for getting some
Yeah, this one.
Rubio action.
This one does it with 2 stains, which I happen to have from General
Yeah.
Finishes. So I'm going to try that out this weekend from some offcut or something.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah,
like
then you
on
can offer
the
that.
Black
Yeah,
Widow
save it
too.
as a sample, as an option.
Yeah, because it looks. I mean, she showed it to me. She goes, "Look how badass," and it looks good because it looks like an old gothic, like with a little bit of modern touch to it. You know,
That's right up
so-
Tim's alley.
So it looks great, man. I'm going to try that out this weekend. I look forward to that.
Okay.
And then just finishing up. Just
I know you finished the shell order with the tool holders, the screwdriver holders, or no?
No, I had to go back and we had to make them thicker because
What?
in white oak, the
Yeah.
badges, the white oak blows out on the edges.
Oh
When you
no.
cut
Oh,
'em.
so the bat. Okay, I'm sorry. The actual tool holder itself was fine
yeah,
with the
yeah,
holes
yeah.
in it,
Yeah, no,
but
it's
the
just badge
badges were
itself.
too thin. Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
on the outside
Okay.
wall, so it's just blow and white oak. We did it on the poplar, remember? But on the white oak, it's too grainy, so it just blows
Yeah.
out every
Man.
damn time. Yeah, so we went back.
D-
Starting to
So
lose.
could you do a shallower groove around that perimeter, or
it doesn't matter. It's gonna blow out no matter what.
yeah?
No matter what. I did it with like a 22-degree bit, which is like a pen. Not even a pen.
Yeah.
It's like a pencil. Blew
Yeah.
it out. I didn't even go
Wow.
that deep. I went like less than an eighth, blew it out.
No way.
Yeah, man, it's horrible. It's horrible.
That's
It's horrible.
crazy. That's
Yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah.
Just too close to the edge, man.
That's
You're
what it is. That's what
yeah.
happens. It gets
Pushing the limits.
Yeah.
exactly.
Arturo and Sosa pushing the limits always.
Always.
One piece of white oak at a time.
Exactly.
As I say, now you woke, fam.
Now you woke.
Now you
Yeah,
woke.
dude. Hey, it's true, man. Every time you screw up, you're woke AF.
There you go.
I won't
Only
do that
really
again.
with white oak because
Yeah,
woke.
it's woke. It works.
Oh, I got you. Oh, yeah, I missed it, man. That went right over my head. Woke.
Yeah.
But
QS woke.
But yeah. So then, and then I got. Well, my topic was some shop maintenance on your tools, and
Okay.
doing that stuff. I had the CNC started acting up again, like always.
Hmm.
So I had to like sit back and get it back in order.
What did you
Change all
do
the
specifically? Like,
the wires were coming apart because they're not one straight, straight shot from the motors to the drivers
Oh.
and stuff. So there's like a little patch in between. So I had to fix all that, and then I gotta order some like 500 feet roll so I can redo all the wiring.
and you can put your own ends on it. You know how to do that, like
No,
the.
they're bare ends. You don't need to put any ends. They go bare ends until it turns.
Oh.
Yeah, it's simple. It's
Oh,
simple
like a
stuff.
screw terminal or whatever at the. Okay, you put a
At the
little
end.
put a little fork on the end, and
And that's
okay.
it. Yeah, and it just
got you.
compresses it, and that's it. So
I got to put you in
contact.
contact with a buddy of mine, man. The guy, Dave Heitzenrader. He's a teacher, right? He does industrial design class. He's big time been into CNC forever. He goes to Oregon every year to stay current with Mastercam,
Oh, nice.
which is the software.
Yeah.
Like that's what I thought. Tim keeps saying Cam Master, and I'm like, don't you mean Mastercam? He's like,
No.
no. Cam Master is the machine itself.
Correct.
Mastercam is the program. It's like a $20,000 software or
Yeah.
some crap that's like ridiculously expensive. But he's got the newest version of it every year for his class at school, and he's kind of a CNC part hoarder. He'll do like this like auctions and surplus auction stuff and buy like these techno mills and spindles and certain parts. So he's got a lot. I keep meaning to like put you guys in contact,
Put
but
him in contact because you know how I upgrade all the electronics on my CNC, and then I have.
Yeah.
I was gonna sell it, but I'd rather just give it to him. I have all the old electronics with the power box and everything.
Okay.
Just sitting there, like literally
All right.
just sitting there. So I was gonna sell it, but then
or maybe you could trade some wires or something,
I'd rather just
with
take
him.
I'd rather if he's using it and stuff, I'd rather give it to him.
Yeah,
sitting there.
he's a good guy. He's the guy. He's the arborist. He's a certified arborist also,
Nice.
and he's actually he was my first person that I knew that was like in the tree network, or like getting me certain cool species of trees. Like he would say, hey, there's a rosewood tree we're taking down. Do you want it? And then he would like talk to other tree guys and other people. Like he's interested in that stuff. And funny enough, he's actually a Methodist minister, and he's the one that officiated my wedding. I've known him for a long time.
That's a small-ass world.
He's a great guy, man. A great guy.
Yeah, man. No, what you call it? Yeah, put him in contact with me because I mean,
Yeah.
I have that stuff sitting there
I'm gonna send you his number right
like
now,
forever, and it's just I was gonna sell it. It's just really heavy.
lest I forget.
Yeah, send that. That'd be cool. But yeah, so just being with the maintenance of the CNC.
What was that little veneer job you did on that table that I saw?
Oh, you like that? The one up in
Oh, I
here?
like it. I like it a
I
lot.
like it a lot. That's a Spanish cedar table that the secretary of the school bought a
Yeah.
long time ago. So then the whole top, she had taken it to somebody. It messed up. They messed it up, and then she took it to somebody else. They put like some material on top, some linen on top.
Ooh.
And then it looked hideous because it was like green. She took that over to some other guy, so 3 guys in. Took it to some other guy, and he tried removing it, but how they put the foam padding, it glued it
Mhm.
onto the wood.
Oh God.
So it was disgusting. She was like, and it's been sitting outside. She goes, I love the base, I love it, but I want to get rid of the top. I was like, oh, let's just make a new top. And I had some walnut veneer sitting around, so I laminated the 2 poplar plywood together,
Okay.
and just veneered the top, and did some edge banding, stained the bottom.
So wait a minute. I caught that it's going to be sitting outside.
No, it was sitting outside.
Okay, it's not going to be sitting
No,
outside
no,
now.
no. It goes in her living room, right in front
Okay.
of the TV. It's just it was sitting outside because it looked so hideous. Like
Oh,
it looked
okay.
really ugly. I have the top still there, but it was sad because it was solid wood, like it was solid Spanish cedar.
Yeah, dude, the base was nice.
Yeah, the base was 8/4 Spanish cedar. The top was 8/4 Spanish cedar. It
Oh.
looked great, but the whole top was beat to crap. So
Yeah.
she goes, "No, I just don't want the top anymore." I'm like, "Okay, we'll make it look like walnut," and it
Nice.
matches her whole interior. So then we did that. Just laminate some plywood. I'm like, "You gotta do it out of plywood because you're not gonna pay for real walnut. So just do it out
Yeah.
of supply and we call it a day." Yeah, cause bro, I looked up the price for that walnut. Would've
No,
been
the
like almost
eight quarter
$400.
walnut. You're $300-400 just for
'Cause
materials for
it's
that
a
top.
3x3.
Yeah,
So it was like, nah, man. So
yeah.
we
You
do
could
it
get
outside.
some 9-foot boards or whatever, or 10-foot boards. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money in walnut, man.
Money. Yeah, because it's super expensive right now. So
Chris, are you back? Can you hear us right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
just, you
geez.
know,
Oh, you sound fantastic.
I know, right? And
Okay.
I mean, we'll see how long it lasts.
Look at that.
No, well,
beautiful face.
let's get into it, man. Like go. I mentioned before we lost you that you
Well,
had an
I'm
interesting
done.
new tool. Oh, sorry, dude. I just want. Oh, god damn, I'm an asshole.
Forget anything I was saying. Jeez.
Okay.
No, Chris, you were saying about you got a new tool, man.
Oh yeah.
Which
So
a tool
I,
I'm interested in too. So.
I bought a lathe. I
Nice.
did it.
I'm
I went
sorry,
ahead and did
Arturo.
it.
I remember.
So, yeah,
That's
no,
cool.
I got just like the mini lathe, like the Jet Mini.
What is that?
Retails.
Like, it does like 12 inches. Something like that?
No, I think the
16.
biggest no, not even. Like I think the biggest bowl I could probably turn on it is like a 10 or an 11-inch bowl. something
No,
like that.
lengthwise.
Oh,
Yeah.
No,
lengthwise,
I was
yeah.
actually. Well, this starts with the height. So the height should be the 12. I think there's the smallest ones, like 12.
Yes, it's a 6 by 16. You could do 12-inch diameter or something, but you could go up to 16 inches. The bed is 16 inches
Yeah.
long
Oh,
from
gotcha.
from head to tail.
Is it belt driven or?
It's belt driven.
Belt-driven.
It's cool. It's
Yeah.
it's got the density of a dying sun. It is
Yeah, it's heavy as fuck.
so fucking heavy.
Brand new
I like-
or you got it used?
No, I got it used, and
Oh, nice.
I got a killer deal on it because brand new it's like $600. I got it used for
No, you're breaking up.
200. Not sad about it.
You got it for $200?
Say the price again.
$200.
Wow.
Fuck yeah. Oh, that's a great deal, man.
That's a deal.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I'm jelly.
Yeah, that's basically the only reason I got it. I was
Yeah,
just-
dude.
I was scouring on there one day, and I look for like tools pretty regularly on OfferUp, and I just
Mhm.
happened to see it, and I knew the guy that was selling it because he is who I bought the Jet metal bandsaw from as well.
So
Oh,
you know you're
So-
gonna get a good deal. Off rip.
Well, I texted him, and I was just like, "Yo," I was like, "Is this for real or what?" It's like, "Does this thing suck?" And he was like pretty cool about it. He's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Honestly," he's like, he's been turning for a hot minute." And he's like, "Yeah," he's like, I'm moving up to a bigger lathe because he's kind of been, you get to that point eventually.
yeah.
And
And then-
so he's like, "Hey," he's like, "I just wanted something bigger. So like, here you go. Like,
Nice.
welcome to the club." So, and yeah. So then the next morning, what's the next morning or like maybe 2 days later? I can't quite remember. I went up to Tim from Local Woodwork, literally like brought my lathe and like, yeah, like just brought it up there. And I was like, "All right, bro, like, what the fuck do I do?" So, in like one morning, he basically showed me like the, I don't know, turn 101, right? And then, yeah, like that I went home later that day and turned a handle for my DFM brass mallet. And the
Nice.
rest is history. Now I've just been like kind of just diddling around with it. I bought a bunch of chuck jaws recently too, so I'm gonna try doing some bowls.
Okay,
Doing some other
I noticed
things.
that when you were turning the handle, you had the three or is it 3 jaw?
No,
Like
so that's
four-
that's a weird one. That's so the Nova Chuck it can adapt all sorts of different jaws. The ones that were on there were the pen jaws, which are only 2, but they're kind of long.
Okay.
And I cut just because I didn't have the other ones in from Amazon yet, so I cut like a little tenon to like fit in there,
Yes.
and then clamped it down. Like so,
Okay.
yeah.
Which is the tenon was gonna go in the mallet anyway, right? Like
No. I mean, I wasted probably a good 3 inches of material or whatever. Just yeah, but I cut the tenon on the table saw first, and then got that to fit inside the chuck, because the chuck jaws only go to like I think 1 3/4 or something
Oh.
like that. Like one, they only expand like so far. So
Yeah.
because I didn't have, a spur center, like all the
Yeah, you need
Yeah.
a bunch of things to get that.
yeah, and I've been ordering them. Trust me, like the $200 lathe is quickly turning into
So $600.
$600
Yeah,
lathe.
'cause the lathe is
Yeah.
the cheapest part. Each chuck is like almost like about $100.
Yeah.
Well, no, not necessarily. So the chuck itself, yes, is $100 or so, and
Right.
then you get the different jaws for the chuck to do
Gotcha.
different things.
Gotcha.
And I got like a combo pack of that for like $100. But then your little spurs and your centers and all that, like say like a live center or like a spur center, things, for your drive or whatever. Those things are like $20-$30. They're cheap, but then they rack up,
Yeah, they
obviously.
add up.
Sure,
You need
man,
a few
yeah.
of those.
Yeah.
And the tools.
I-
You got tools for it?
I did, yeah. So actually, while I was up there, so Tim uses carbide turning tools.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's like his thing, and he's a dealer for carbide turning tools, etc. And he had a old set of like starter. They're like the equivalent to like the Sorbies from like Woodcraft or whatever, the traditional turning tools with high speed steel.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he had like an old set. I think it was his starter set. So he's just like, here, just take these,
Ooh,
Nice.
which was cool.
That's a good
but-
start. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I will say, so I sharpen a lot of chisels and hand planes and all that stuff. It is twice as like intensive. Like literally every time I turn on the lathe, pretty much I am sharpening beforehand, like to make sure that everything is sharp. Because, I mean, as he put it, he's like, a dull tool is an unsafe tool. When
Yeah.
it comes to turning, especially.
especially with that.
So,
Yeah. Not even safe. Just like you're gonna ruin your piece because it's just gonna tear it up.
yeah, exactly.
I have. You remember? I don't know if I posted a while ago making the balls on the lathe because
Yes.
the kids at
Yeah.
school we started to do like the Christmas ornaments and stuff.
Mhm.
And so I switched out. Everybody made a ball, whatever. And they're happy. They painted their shit and they brought it home. I brought in a bunch of little golden hooks and they screwed the hooks in. And they're happy. They had Christmas ornaments. Even the Jewish kids loved it. So like, I have a lot of Jewish kids. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we made dreidels too on the
there we
lathe,
go.
but like leave it square, but don't can't make come to a taper or whatever. Only a couple kids did that. But okay, sorry. Long story short, having the drill press right there above the lathe, I left it as is, but I switched it from the hole saw that was there to make the balls to a little drum, a little sanding drum, right? With
Mhm.
like I don't know what grit. It was probably like started as 80, but it's like almost smooth now. But it's cool. I could use that. It's positioned just so where I could like rest my both hands on the head of the lathe, the power, the power side, the headstock of the lathe, and hold it at the right angle and just like kind of like rotate the gouge, holding it up against that thing as it at the drum as it's spinning.
Yeah.
It's really convenient to have it right there. I could like leave the piece turning on the lathe, like not even shut the lathe off, pop the drill press on, give it a quick tune up, and turn the drill press off, get right back to gouging. That was, I don't know, that's the end of my story, but I just thought it was cool. But like you mentioned, sharpening is extremely important and way more difficult than doing chisels, because you might have your little honing guide for a chisel, like you're doing a straight edge on a chisel. Most of the lathe tools are curved.
Yeah. So I
you
had
have
to
do it
get
freehand.
for that the Wolverine sharpening jig system, which I've been meaning to get anyway because they make a good tool rest for the bench grinder. So they have like an expansion kit basically that has like all the rests and stuff for the lathe, which is quite nice. So you can like there's this long butt rest that like kind of protrudes out. Yeah. And you just lock it in and you can match the bevel of your tool on your grinder and then obviously do that. But it's the gouges especially are really difficult to sharpen because I think just because there's so much more material, they get hot real quick. They get like super hot. So like I always have like a cup of ice or something next to the grinder, like when I'm working with chisels or whatever.
Bourbon.
But with that too. But that's on the other side. But But with the gouges, like I'll take it off and literally like dunk it in the ice water for a while just to keep it from like bluing on me, because
Mm-hmm.
I had it happen a few times where like right on the corner, like as you're like kind of coming off, just
Yeah.
the heat that was generated from the start when you were on the one side of the gouge till you got to the other side, and then all of a sudden it's blue like right in the corner. You're like shit, like now I got to start over again. So
You know what? Something that I when I first started out really woodworking, I would watch all those Stumpy Nubs videos. The James Hamilton guy. He um, he was a big fan, or I kind of like a brand ambassador of the Tormek. You know
Hmm.
this like it's like a bench grinder, but it turns
yeah,
at 100
Tormex are
RPM.
badass, but they're like
Yeah,
$1,000.
they're not that. I like the T3 or the T2 now. I think they're up to T9 or some crap. Like the
Yeah.
newest one is ridiculously expensive, but from the ones that I was interested in, freaking I don't know 5 6 years ago 7 years ago, um, that you could probably pick those up for $200 or $300.
If I could
Which is
find a
not,
used one, it's
yeah,
definitely worth it. But
yeah,
I mean,
because a slow spinning stone eliminates that issue that you're having.
yeah.
Totally.
And
Totally.
well, they have the little water tray on the
Yeah, it's a
bottom
tray.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just keeps circulating through the water. Yeah, it's like having a rotating water stone. It's quite
That
nice.
technology and actually the CBN. I was tempted to pull the trigger on some CBN. It's like a diamond wheel for the chain sharpener for the chainsaw chains.
Oh, that's cool.
Like instead of are you guys familiar with CBN? It's
Is
like
that the
diamond dust
thing that I
impregnated.
see all the pop-up shops and the strip malls trying to get me to take CBN oil? Is that what
That's
it is?
no, that's weed actually. That's the devil's lettuce in a different form, man. You got to have your head on a swivel. The devil's everywhere. But CBN, like, it's more expensive, but it's literally the last grinding wheel you'll ever need to buy. They have them for the bench grinder. They build up way less heat. If you don't want to buy a Tormek, if you want to leave it on the fast spinning bench grinder, put a CBN wheel on the bench grinder. My buddy, the guy you met, oh geez, how did I forget his name? Ron Purcell, the guy that teaches the wood turning class. He's got CBN wheels on a regular bench grinder, and that's what he uses. And some of the stuff that he's produced on the lathe, like I trust him.
Yeah, I
You
think now that I'm saying it,
Oh no,
what's his name has CBN wheels? I'd say Tim's got CBN wheels on his. Nope, am I back?
you're back now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Tim's got CBN wheels on his 8-inch bench grinder.
Okay.
Yeah, and
They
they're
ain't
like,
cheap. I'll tell you that much.
yeah,
No, they're not cheap.
They're like
they're not.
150 to $200.
Yeah, he's
But-
got the 8-inch though. I mean, maybe a 6-inch CBN is probably
6 inch is
cheaper.
like 160. The 8 inch is like 180. Like $20, $30 difference.
So here's a fun fact or a fun question. Does obviously the diameter of a spinning mass affects its surface speed, right? So does an 8-inch grinder build up more heat than a 6-inch grinder because it's spinning faster than a 6-inch grinder? You know what I mean?
Right. That's
It's a great
interesting.
question. Well, are the motors the same? No, they can't be, right?
I
So-
think they're both the 1750 or no, those spin pretty fast, man. They're 3400 RPM motors.
Hmm.
I got to look. Cuz like those electric motors don't really like unless there's a some kind of control in there. It's either
Yeah,
on
they're
and off.
on
It's
and
like either 3450 or 1750, I think.
Bench grinder.
You know what I find interesting too is that Rob Cosman, when you like see some of his like sharpening videos and stuff, and I mean, this is one of those things where maybe going down the rabbit hole of sharpening,
Yeah.
you're gonna see like so many like conflicting different things, right? So he prefers for grinding his primary bevels on his planes and chisels to just use like the lowest number grit, like whatever he's got an 8-inch bench grinder, but like just whatever super low grit to just take off material. That's his whole focus. He's like, I just want to take off material. I want to take it off fast, and then I'll deal with the rest of it on the stone, really. So, he doesn't mess around with, the CBNs that are like, say, 350, 400 grit. He's like using what looks like a pumice stone.
Yeah, like the 80 grit on the
They
for
like-
doing the same thing you do with your lawnmower blades.
There you go.
Yeah.
They spin at like 3,600 RPMs.
Okay, yeah, so they're a 3600, 3450, whatever. If they're all the same, then the 8-inch grinder, the surface speed of that wheel is significantly faster than a 6-inch grinder.
Wouldn't the 6-inch be spinning quicker?
No,
No.
because from the center point,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
you know,
centrifugal
people-
and centripetal force.
it's
all
like
that good.
people in Canada are traveling slower than people in Ecuador. You know,
Oh, because they're from
people in Ecuador are going 1,000 miles an hour right now. They don't even know it.
Canada.
You know what I mean? Like it's hard to explain. I guess I should figure out a way to explain it. So, it's like if you put bigger tires on your car, it'll your speedometer reads slower because
Correct.
you're going the same speed, but the tire is spinning slower because it's bigger. In this case, the motor is a constant at 3,450 or 3,600.
Correct.
A larger wheel spinning at the same RPM at its center point, the outside of that wheel is traveling way faster than if it were small. You know what I talk to you?
I mean, I get it.
Okay.
Whether or not Arturo gets it, I have no idea. But I know that I get it.
When Arturo's nose hairs stick out farther, that means he's thinking really hard with your upward facing camera.
Like that. It's the only place I can put it. Oh my
Okay,
God.
I'm sorry.
Stop being so mean.
So yeah, the lathe is fun. That's like kind of the moral of the story there. And I mean, I don't think I'm gonna turn into like a full crazy lathe guy, but like I do want to see if I can figure out some cool ways to like incorporate some rounded components into things.
Absolutely, dude. Drawer
yeah.
pulls,
Yeah.
you know, frickin' chisel handles when you want to, whatever. Like, knobs for your,
Oh yeah,
Router-
for
router
tools,
plane?
Yeah.
Dude, it was so funny that you posted that because I literally that half lap, that rosewood half lap that I did for the base of this epoxy coffee table. I literally I put it together. I did it on the table saw, right? And I put it together, and it was just a little bit too thick, just like a 0.01 C's too many.
Yeah.
And so I pulled out the router plane. I'm like, I just want to take a little bit off of one side just to make it sit in there nice. And I used the router plane. I'm like, this is stupid. Like, it worked. It worked perfectly though. Don't get me wrong. Like it worked for what I needed. It was a quick thing. I clamped the piece down to the table saw and whatever. I took a little super light, 32nd of an inch pass, and working from the outside to the middle from both sides, and it worked great. And then literally the next day, I see you post a picture of you just bought a router plane. I'm like, oh, that's like meeting each other on the same road 3 days in a row on 84.
I mean, the way that I see people using a router plane the most these days is really just to clean up a dado that was done on like a table saw or something like that, or if your router left like some
marks.
fuzzies or something in there,
Mhm.
like or a burn mark or something, just
Yeah.
to kind of go in and clean it up, or with either a dado or a rabbit. That's the only real way I see people using them. I don't necessarily see people setting up a fence and then really plowing out just
Oh
tons of
no,
material with it.
no! You can't.
Yeah,
Because it's inherently like if you try and take too big of a bite with that thing, it's like the front of a train, dude.
yeah,
Like the cow scoop on the front of a train. It tears out nasty. Like it'll especially with, rosewood is flaky anyway, but it wants to rip up fibers. It doesn't make your Fibonacci spirals at all.
yeah. No, not at all.
That's not what you're gonna
Yeah.
get.
So yeah, that's but yes, like as far as components, there's all sorts of things, even like little mini tapered legs for stuff, 16-inch like little bench legs or something if I wanted to max it out. Or actually no, a 14-inch, because 16-inch, I always forget, is 18-inch bench height or is
Yes.
it 16? It's 18, right?
Anywhere between 16 and 18 is fine, dude.
Yeah. So, but anyway, long story short, I can make some little cones or whatever, like you said, chisel handles, and it's a great way for utilizing stuff in a scrap pile. That's really
Yeah.
Yes.
like, like I
Make
start
a
looking at things way differently, like in my shop now. Like,
Yeah.
as far as, like what I have, I'm like, oh, this is something, which is making me more of a hoarder, which is probably a bad thing, but
Hi-oh.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you're not a whore.
Or
But
door.
you could, dude, make bottle tops
Yes.
for your bottles and stuff, and make Lindsay, the wine bottle
Yeah.
toppers.
Ooh,
The
That
little
stuff,
toppers. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
lathe is perfect for all that little holiday stuff. I guess put the drill press over the top of it, make balls.
Hmm.
Now I want a wood lathe. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
dude, they're fun. So I had a 36-inch lathe, right? It was a whatever. It was a some kind of. It wasn't any kind of expensive brand. I bought it at uh, the marine flea market, the Dania Marine Flea Market, a long time ago, and I paid too much for it. I paid like $300 for it, and it was, I think it was like the equivalent of like a Harbor Freight lathe, like that size, big enough to where I could do a table leg, which I never did, actual turned table legs. Um, but I brought it to school when I first started the woodshop program because I thought that would be cool. And one of the kids actually broke it because he loosened the nut on the tailstock, and he was like sliding it over to put the center pin in the end of the piece that he was going to turn, and he was like whacking at it with whacking the tailstock with a hammer to get the pin to go in the end of the wood. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! And I look at it's cast steel, the whole form of the thing, so it had a huge crack in it. And he's like, "Oh, I'll fix it. I'm gonna weld it." I'm like, "You can't weld cast steel, dude. You screw. Thanks a lot. That's what I get for bringing my stuff to school." But then the school actually, probably like a year and a half later, the school actually said, "Hey, we've got some extra money. Do you have any tools that you want us to buy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'd love to get a lathe again because the kids keep asking about the lathe, and that one dumb shit that broke it, it's no longer in my class." Like, so,
You can't break it again.
yeah. Um, so I want to get a lathe so we could do those cool small projects and maybe
Yeah.
get some pen kits and stuff. And they got it's the same lathe that Chris has. It's the Jet 6x16 type of deal. So it's a cool thing. And one thing that I don't have, Chris has got the chuck. The only thing, I think the only piece that I would be able to do, it's got that plate with the screw holes in it. I don't know if you have, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
Chris?
that's
You
that's
have
the
that
stock
part?
plate. That's
Yeah.
I think
The-
you attach the chuck to it, don't you? Or you
No,
could.
that would be for like the beginning, doing the outside curve of a bowl. You just like
Yeah,
screw
that's right.
a bowl blank to
Oh,
that.
Yeah, sorry.
You
yes,
know what I
I know
mean?
what you're talking
And then
about. No, I do
you
not have that.
Oh,
But
okay. You cut
most
your
people I've seen just take like a little circle of plywood and like just screw the hell out of it.
Yeah,
like
and then they
into
There you
like
go.
it, and
super
then
glue
Yeah.
it, or
they
they just
use-
hot glue gun or some shit.
that little.
damn it, Chris. With
God
the,
dang it.
No,
Chris.
definitely fucking hot glue gun. That thing's gonna come off in your face. Bueller.
Bueller.
Cows?
Got you.
Bueller.
Go ahead. You sound clean.
Yeah,
All right.
I hear you.
So yeah, a lot of people I know take like just a little round of plywood or whatever, and then just screw the hell out of it, and then use the chuck jaws to clamp onto that. You definitely don't want to be using hot glue or CA glue or some
No.
shit like that, because that shit's gonna fly off in your face.
For a final pass, yes. Hot glue is sufficient, but like for roughing, no.
Yeah,
definitely
like
not.
if you're gonna have it on like the
Yeah.
lowest setting and it's literally going like one rotation an hour.
You're trying to
Yes.
sand. Did
Yeah.
you do that? Did you mess around with that, by the way? Did you sand it while it was still spinning? That's like my
Yeah,
favorite
I
part,
did.
dude.
So I cut it and then I moved the tailstock off and then I
Mhm.
just had it, rotating in the head. 'Cause that's how I had gotten it to that point. It was pretty balanced. Or
Yeah.
it was basically perfectly balanced at that point. So yeah, then I was just hitting it with. I think I started with like 150 and went to like 320 or something like that.
Nice.
Super easy.
A little
I
trick I
should've-
learned: burnish it. Grab a bunch of sawdust, the shavings, and cup it in your hand and hold it underneath,
Oh,
and you
that's
can kind of
clever.
burnish it. Yeah, dude, it
Yeah.
makes a big difference.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's pretty shiny.
and
That's
when
what I did with that mallet handle I just made, the piece of metal.
yeah.
Sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
when Griff was over the other night too, I just like he was like, "Oh, like let me see how this thing goes," and I literally just like found like a piece of scrap and like threw it in there and just used like the roughing gouge and the skew. But which the skew is like, let me tell you, that is a tricky guy to if you want to get the sheared finish on it off the
Mm.
skew. That is a tricky tool to use. Like that is I mean, for some reason the second time I used it, like the success rate was a lot higher than the first time. The first time it was just like catch the I was like really got out of the brown pants that morning. But
Yeah, because it's parallel with fibers at that point, so it's not.
yeah, so Tim gave me a trick where he was like, if you're going to use the skew for the purpose of getting a better sheared surface, to like raise the tool rest kind of almost to the top. So that way, I don't really know the science behind it, but he said, get the skew to kind of like line up with the top, and that'll sort of, depending on where you get it, and maybe when Griff was over, just I hit the money note, maybe I had it too low the other day or whatever,
Yeah.
but like I just had it in the perfect spot, and I was doing it. I remember telling him a couple times, I was like, this is working surprisingly well. You didn't catch once. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing right now, but like for some reason it seems to be working phenomenally better than the last time I tried this, where it was
Yeah,
just catch city,
as long as it's sharp, you're like when you raise the tool rest, you're changing the angle of which the blade actually touches the wood.
Yeah.
Like if the tool rest is like in the center line of the piece, you're almost hitting the piece at a 90-degree angle, which is not very sheer at all.
Yeah.
So if you raise the tool rest up, a quarter of an inch or whatever, half an inch, depending on the diameter of the piece, like you freaking change the angle. It's like changing the bevel on your chisel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like low angle versus regular jack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting too, because like that was one of the things that Tim had sort of taught me was like, depending on the tool you're using, you adjust, where your tool rest is. So if you're using gouges and scrapers and those kinds of tools, you're more in the middle. Like you basically want your tool itself to be in the middle. So actually, for like those big gouges, especially, like your tool rest is going to be probably in like that lower third of your workpiece, and then depending on, again, like what kind of skew you're using, etc., parting tools, even he's like, you want to be more in the middle or on the higher side. So it's cool. There's a lot to learn for sure, and I am accepting of the fact that I know nothing. So it's a great time.
That's the first step. That's the first step, man. Hell yeah.
The video I'm going to do on it is pretty funny, actually, because I haven't actually edited it yet. I have to like really do that. I mean, I released like a little IGTV thing just because I was like, whatever, like just slap a bunch of clips together and see what it looks like. But like the actual video of me turning the handle, I'm going to do like a little picture-in-picture thing where I'm like sort of commenting on what's happening. Because I've noticed that the turning videos in general, I mean, they're good if you are like, I guess, really interested in turning, or you're like genuinely trying to learn turning.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and I want that aspect of it, but I also want, say some casual observer or somebody that's into woodworking that doesn't know the first thing about turning to be able to enjoy the video for that purpose. So like, I think sort of me commenting on, the catches. One of the funny things that happened when I was turning the mallet handle was that I put the tool rest too close to the blank and then turned it on.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It didn't move.
Well, it was just it knocked one of the corners off like instantly.
Oh man.
And I was standing kind of away from it, obviously, when I turned it on. And Griff will tell you too, like I'm still mildly scared to the shit out of this thing. Like, so every time I turn it on, I'm standing kind of like off to the side. I'm not like standing like dead in front of it. Like, so I'm like always to one side. I'm a little away from it when I turn it on, and I sort of wait a second before I approach the lathe just to be like, okay,
make sure nothing's coming loose.
Yeah, like everything's secure. I mean, Tim got me pretty scared about that kind of stuff. He was like, he's like, listen, he's like, if you think it's tight, he's like, give it another half a turn just in case.
Like, from the tailstock thing, you mean the
tailstock, like literally anything. He's like, whatever it is, give it an extra half a turn. He's like, ain't nothing wrong with that. So
we did a pen turning class in Rockler. Maria and
that
was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
Pretty cool. Yeah. So just get your feet wet.
Yeah. And the guy I bought the lathe from told me that the South Florida Wood Turners Guild does some free classes like once a month or something like that. He's like, they'll let you use all their shit. He's like, just go. They're like basically begging people to learn how to turn.
Is that Ron's class?
I think it might be. I'm not entirely sure, but like the guy, he and I had been texting back and forth, and he was like, hey, he's like, it's out in Southwest Ranches.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So I was like, that's got to be Ron's thing.
Oh yeah, Ron. You got to see like the play. He's got like 6 or 8 lathes, right? And it's in these like shacks behind the guy's property. Like,
well, I remember we drove by where he does it. Yeah.
And a little tiny hole in the wall place, it's a beautiful, big piece of property. He's got a beautiful house and everything, but like his workshop area is just jammed in the back with a. It's like you could tell where the original shop was, and then he built an addition, and then an addition to the addition, and then a lean-to, and then another addition, and whatever. Like there's like it's a mishmash of buildings, and then throughout all those buildings, he's got like 8 different lathe stations. He's got the tools everywhere. The bench grinders are everywhere.
Oh,
A
that's
little
cool.
blower on top of each station to keep the chips out of your face. Um, just really, really cool. And the guy's he's been around a while. He's an older guy, and you just want to. He's a teacher. He used to work at what's the school? Western High School, uh, in that area out there. Western High School, I think, or MacArthur, something like that. But yeah, just real gentle giant. Basically, you could tell like back in his prime, he was 6'4", 310 pounds, like a big football player, big lineman type of dude. And now he's just an old man, like gentle giant type of guy. Like, here you go, let me take you under my wing. Let me teach you how to do this. Really,
Yeah.
really
That's
sweet
cool.
guy. Um,
Does he give
but
classes or?
yeah, that's the guy that gives the
That's the
classes.
guys that give.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be
he's a
interested
he's
in
a
that.
he's a teacher at heart, man. Yeah, I would love to do it, but his clientele are all older retired guys, so they do it like Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and I'm at work, Chris is
Oh
at
man.
work, you're at work, everybody's like kind of in the middle of the week doing their thing when they have these classes, so I haven't been able to go.
See if
But
you can get like an update on like classes that he has coming up or whatnot.
I feel like a couple of them are in the evenings. I want to say. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be in. You
I
Okay.
think it's
guys
like
do it?
I think
Oh,
from what I saw in like the flyer or something, they do it like once or twice a month or something like that. There's like
yeah.
one that's like sort of they'll show you, they have all the blanks, they'll literally give you all the stuff and they'll show you how to do it.
Yeah, because I know
So
they did a few things in Homestead, if I wasn't mistaken. He has
yeah,
done
there's
a few
another
things
there's a different one that like is like way out there, like
I'm
in
not
the
trying to drive to Key West though,
there.
dude.
That's
Come
far.
on.
Yeah.
You guys far from me. Oh yeah, see look, this one has it. They have a meeting on Thursday.
that might be the Miami one.
Yeah, that's my. Oh, it just passed. Sorry. And then they had a guild event on the 9th and the 10th. They already did that. And then they have a workshop today from 9 a.m. to noon.
Today?
Yeah, but it's the Miami one.
Oh, man.
It's all down. Like it's far, bro. It's even.
This
Farther.
is the same guy that I remember we were watching Ashley Harwood's presentation at WBC last
Oh
year,
yeah,
and I'm
when
like,
he
oh,
was in the
that's
picture.
Ron. He was in the
Yeah.
picture with her.
And then I asked Ashley later. I was like, "Do you know who Ron Purcell is?" She's like, "No, I have no idea."
no. and I asked Ron, hey, do you know who Ashley Harwood is? He's like, who?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right, man.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, this place is far. The one down in Miami,
Yeah,
50 minutes from my house.
whatever, man. Let's just practice ourselves and start our own classes.
Yeah, the North South Florida freaking working.
That doesn't
guild
make
or
any
whatever.
sense.
Yeah, who cares? Oh, and it's like $30.
Okay.
Bad. Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Well, fellas, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're going on an hour and 40 minutes right now.
We
Oh,
are
God.
we are currently an hour and 8 minutes.
Oh, 8?
Well,
Oh,
recording
okay.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's still
all right.
good though.
Yeah, that's about right. I'd say for our listeners' sake. I know it's been like 3 or 4 weeks since we've done one, but this is good. Well, it was good to be back, everybody. I think the three of us have said our piece, if I'm not mistaken. No? You guys good? All right, cool.
Sounds good.
So be sure, guys. I'm sure the Mr. AC nailed it. Has a couple of questions about what we talked about today. Please email us at I'm not very heavy tail. Ask me about my wood at gmail.com with any questions or topics that you'd like us to talk about during the next show. Any PayPal payments or Venmo payments can be sent to Arturo, the Chopmaster, at gmail.com. And honestly, we appreciate your support, everyone. And keep on doing what you're doing. Life's a garden. Dig it.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
There you go.
All right.
All right, guys.
Bye.